All right, well, good evening, everybody. The time right now is, what is it? It's 11 o'clock on this Thursday, almost Friday. We're not too far away from Friday, y'all. It's almost here. So this Thursday, April, what is it, 25th? 25th, late at night here, well, late in the evening, and still all is quiet. You know, this thing is really, these severe weather threats anyway, have really developed pretty much like we thought it would. There's been no big surprises. There's no major updates. There's no major changes to the forecast. But we did want to jump on here and, while everything is quiet, give you a weather update on what is going on and when you can expect it. I have maybe slowed things up a little bit, but I still think that the time frames that I had initially are still going to be pretty good. So it still looks like the bulk of this comes through between about 1 and 6 a.m. Maybe a little bit slower than I initially thought, but not by much. Right now, currently, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. We can go to that. You can see some storms out west there, but there's your severe thunderstorm watch. It covers, and I think that this is actually a pretty good watch. I'm glad that the Storm Prediction Center went with this over tornadoes because I just don't think the threat for tornadoes is all that high here tonight. I mean, I think a severe thunderstorm watch with maybe a quick spin up or two is fine. But I did just read from the Weather Service that there's some thoughts that late tonight, as the storms finally make their way, they may upgrade this maybe to maybe a tornado watch over in here maybe. There is a lot of spin in the atmosphere, but I believe that these storms, most of them are going to be rooted just above the Earth's surface. That means they may not have access to this low-level spin. So that could potentially keep us from seeing, much in the way of tornadic activity. Plus, the storm mode will largely be linear, and you just usually don't see significant tornadoes with that, but you can get spin-ups. And you may be wondering what a spin-up is, and by a spin-up is they usually happen quickly in the line. They'll be there for like a frame or two in the radar, and then they go away. They don't last long. They just last a couple of frames, which would be maybe 5-10 minutes the most, and then they go away. Usually they're very weak, and the only way you can see them is because you can may see them twisting around in the rain. That's really about it. You don't see them. They're not these big photogenic tornadoes like you see with supercells. So that's what I'm looking at. We can go to the radar itself. I can show you what the radar is showing. Let's go back. I'm not going to show you that. Notice this here, this big large area of blue you see around us. That's the inversion in the atmosphere. That's the cap we're talking about. That's the convective inhibition. This is the radar beam bouncing off that layer of warmer air just above the Earth's surface. What it's sensing is a large area. It's a density difference, and the radar picks up on that. So yes, we do have pretty good cap over us right now. And we can go back to the west, and even with the cap, and there's some capping in place back here near Lubbock, when you have strong dynamics coming into play like we have, it means we have a strong storm system, we got a front in the area beginning to surge eastward. What happens is, even though there's a cap there, it forces the air. There's so much rise, it forces the air up, and it forces thunderstorms to develop despite that cap. So these are called strongly forced thunderstorms. Initially, they're supercells out west. They're mostly probably, like I said, a little above the Earth's surface, mostly a hail threat right now. But in time, what you're going to see is these storms are going to kind of try to grow a bit upscale here. And we're not even to just a little bit after 11 now. So I would think that about 1 a.m. you'll probably see some storms over into here. So that's a little bit later than I initially thought, if anything, a little bit. So about 1 a.m. we might see the storms over into this area here and kind of growing. And this is kind of the orientation that you're going to see with them will be kind of like this. So 12 o'clock, 1 a.m. over in here, but the orientation is going to start growing more like this. So you're going to see everything kind of arc from the north east to the southwest as the line continues to grow. These storms are not just that far away from Childress. If we do a little measurement here, they're about a good hour away, but with the upper level system kicking in, these are probably going to begin to pick up speed and move pretty quickly. So I would say within about 1 to 2 hours, we'll see storms, kind of into this area here. So about 1 a.m. or so, kind of over in there. And then, what happens is once they start to arc in this area from the northeast to the southwest, the northern end of the line speeds up, whereas the southern end of the line slows down a bit. So you kind of see it kind of lined up like this. So while this area may be getting hit over here sooner than this area down here, this area over here winds up seeing the storms last a little bit longer. So that's what you deal with when you're dealing with the line of thunderstorms. Here's the latest HRRR computer model. We can take a look at this here. Give it a second to load in. And this still doesn't even show the storms getting into our western counties until not even about 3 a.m. or so. But there's that, what I was talking about. There's that arc from northeast to southwest there. There's that line. And if we do wind up getting some little storms in here, and they can be perhaps maybe kind of semi-discrete, you might get a little supercell that may try to produce a little bit larger hail. And if you're going to get a spin up, usually what happens in these types of situations, if you do get some little supercells and they can interact with that line, merge with it, oftentimes that'll kind of help overcome some of the elements in the atmosphere that are not favorable for it and help it spin up a little bit. So these would be little spin ups within this line. And see, the latest update has that line of storms getting to Wichita Falls around 4 a.m. Probably still, I still think that might be a little slow. But with the slower motion, it also lingers those storms, into about 6:30, and could wind up seeing some heavier rain if we do wind up seeing this trend continue. I still think that most of these storms will be out of here after sunrise tomorrow, and could be some severe weather over there in northeast Texas tomorrow, and we'll worry about Saturday tomorrow. Not worried about that yet. We're going to get through tonight, then we'll worry about Saturday. So again, overnight tonight, this is what we expect. Nothing is quiet between, for most of us, quiet for the next 2 to 3 hours, and then probably after 1, 2 a.m. is when things will really start to pick up some. This will probably be prior to you getting up in the morning, in some of your instances that you get up early for your job, it might be even ongoing still when you do get up. But it should be shifting off of these pretty fast, I think, after you start making your way to work or school. Main concern with the line, again, wind, a little hail. But we can't rule out maybe something quick that could spin up fast, and that's why it's important that you have your app, your phone, your app. First Alert 6 weather app, notifications turned on, you'll get them. Of course, these days, I think that I know here in Wichita Falls, the emergency alert system goes off whenever a warning is issued, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get the alert, and you're probably going to go looking for us. And the way to find us would be here on social media. That means Facebook and YouTube. We also have a new 24/7 channel. It's Digital 6.4. We'll probably be on there too, I would think. But as far as being on News Channel 6, what we're trying to do is we're trying to reserve any severe weather coverage over on CBS. We're trying to reserve that for more serious events. I know a lot of you don't mind if we cover up your programming, but believe it or not, there's a lot of people that do. And I get it, I understand it. So I'm going to try to do most of my coverage, no matter when it is, unless it's something really serious, here on social media and on the 24/7 channel and the First Alert 6 weather app. So that way, most people don't miss their programs and you still get the information. You can still find us. Then if something serious happens, we'll be live on all platforms. So, all right, let me go over here and see what kind of chat we got going on over here. Of course, we always have people that want to know about their town. So, Archer, Henrietta, Burke, it's really difficult for me to, if you miss the time frames, what's hard to do, it's hard for me to go back and answer all of these questions, because what happens is I'll answer yours and then somebody else will come on here and say the same thing. They just missed it. So, I'm just going to try. What I'll do here is I'll do this. This might help solve you. So this is what we got as far as the time frames go. That way you don't have to ask me. You can just look up there and see. So there you go. That's what we're expecting right there. And there's different colors. Pretty easy to understand that there, I believe. And keep in mind that some of this will probably slow up some, and some of this could linger into, the time frame around sunrise, especially in our eastern counties. So, Do you think Bowie will get the worst? I don't think Bowie gets it any worse than anybody else. You're going to see pretty much what everybody else sees, just this line pushing through with some rain and some thunder, maybe some gusty winds, that kind of stuff over your way. So about the same. I know you want me to focus on Lakeside City. It's because where you live, Jared. It's where I live too. But you know what? Wichita, Lakeside City, it's the same when I'm forecasting. So, I don't usually when you're dealing with the line of storms, they usually don't split and go around Wichita Falls. Sometimes you'll see a heavier cell north or heavier cell south, but I don't think it will do that. I don't think it'll split. It's not like ridiculous. The reason why a lot of times it seems like these storms split, and I have seen them split before. I get it. But oftentimes what happens is if you're in the summertime, they'll develop to your west and they'll intensify, and then they'll fade, and then they'll redevelop to your east. That's just how summertime storms are. They just do that. And oftentimes when you're dealing with scattered supercell thunderstorms, oftentimes you'll miss out too because it's a single thunderstorm, and areas north of you or west of you, you'll get it and then it'll miss you. So it happens. Garrett, I'm going to suggest that you go to sleep. There's no reason in the world for you to stay up all night. There really isn't. Like I say, if you have that app on you, if you have your phone on you, you're going to be notified if something goes wrong. Then you can find us on social media, or you can find us on 6.4. That's the digital 24/7 channel. That's something we just added. And if it's something really bad, we'll be on News Channel 6 as well. A lot of you I know look for us on Facebook and on newly starting this the YouTube as well. It is very humid out there tonight. Tropical air is in place. Low threat, yes, very low threat for tornadoes over there in Bowie, Brianna. Cedar Park, where is Cedar Park at? Brianna, I recommend our app. I like the First Alert 6 weather app, and here's why I like it. It's because we update our First Alert 6 weather app. This is not like a lot of times you'll download these apps, these weather apps, and they're what's called algorithm generated or computer generated forecast. And sometimes they're right, but a lot of times they're not. But the First Alert 6 weather app, what I like about it is we, the actual meteorologists, can go in there and can manipulate the data, and we can make it our own forecast. I'll admit sometimes we get busy and we let the computer do it too. But the thing about it is I'm able to send updates out. It's something that's called Engage that we have on our computer, and I'm able to send periodic updates from time to time. And I'm also in a situation where with the app you can also set alerts for your location no matter where you're at. You'll get the severe weather alert. Just turn them on. Now you gotta go in there in the settings and turn them on, because if you don't watch it, you're gonna have notifications coming on every time that lightning's outside. You have to set it specifically, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let me open my app here. Cameron, you asleep over there?
I'm chilling. I'm just looking at your graphic.
All right. So I'm going to try to pull up my First Alert 6 app and show the folks.
I'm just riding along right now.
Riding along for the ride. All right, so this is what it looks like whenever I open it up. You can see here I've got, that's my forecast from earlier, but look, you can watch live on there too. So I like that. So what you do is the little bars up here, click on those. Then you go to the little icon that says settings. Let's see if it'll, it's not going to focus, I don't think. But anyway, it says settings. So when you click on settings, you go to, I like to turn on my News Channel 6 alerts, because that's whenever I send something out, like a little brief weather update, you'll get that. You'll know it. You'll know it's happening. You'll get that when the minute it gets sent out. Now that's not going to be severe weather coverage. That's just like a quick forecast update. But what you want to do is you want to go to where it says weather notification types, which it doesn't do me any good because I don't think you can see it. So you go to weather notification types, and you just turn on what you want. Enable notifications for a location. Choose at least one location for you to receive notifications in order to configure the options below. So you have to configure, you have to set a location. I just hit follow me. That's what I went. That's just what you should do. Then you can go on, you can turn it on for, whatever you want to turn it on for. Severe weather warnings. I wouldn't turn it on for precipitation or lightning. That's going to be going off all the time. If you're living in a flood-prone area, you can turn on flooding. I wouldn't have wind on. This time of year we don't have a need for winter. I mean, if you want to, it's hot here in the summertime. We know that. You can turn off heat. You don't have a need for tropical here, marine or other. So what you do is you go into where it says severe. I don't know why mine's not doing it. It's not giving me the option, Cameron, to be able to get in here to.
Turn it off and on.
It's green, it's kind of grayed out. So see, here I am, supposed to be an expert on this, and I'm having a few little problems with it here. So
Like this?
yeah, I can't turn mine on and off.
Hmm.
Well, maybe I have notifications turned off in
You
general.
want to use mine? To help?
But anyway, that's how you do it. No, that's fine. People know what to do. So, but anyway, you can set it to vibrate. You can set it to all kind of stuff there. So,
Do you know what I found out with the app?
what?
Do you want to know what I found out with the app?
What'd you find out with the app?
It has your voice in it.
Yeah, it does. I recorded those a long time ago.
I remember when I first got here, and I downloaded the app and have my notifications on, and it tells you if there's lightning near your location.
Yep, and you hear me.
And I just heard lightning has been detected. I was like, wait a second, that was Ken. I
Yep,
thought I was losing my mind.
that was me. I'll be at my mom's house in Mississippi, and it'll say the same thing. Oh, there I am. Because she has our app downloaded there too. So, but yeah, it's real easy to do all that stuff there. So, you have a good night too, Brianna. Thank you for joining me here on this Facebook Live. Yep, that's Ken's voice saying all that. So, you hear my voice in the middle of the night? No, I'm not in your dreams. I'm just on the app. See, I don't know. I don't know how to tell you to adjust sound on it. So, oh, I'm sorry, Trey. I'm just now seeing that. What's up there, Carter? Hope you're doing good. Thanks for watching me here for a while. It's late, young man. You need to be in the bed. I would think that, unless of course you're older, and I could be talking to a grown kid. I don't know, but I'm gonna guess you're probably of school age, and you probably need to be in the bed asleep. Chastity, Stephenville. It'll be in the morning, like probably sunrise and thereafter. Maybe in the morning, after sunrise, so you might get some. Leslie Diaz, thank you for keeping us informed. Thank you, Ali Applegate.
That's a cool last name.
Yeah, I like that last name. So Leslie Diaz, let's see here. Do you get much sleep during this time of the year? Well, Kathy, it's funny you asked that. No, sometimes I don't. I didn't sleep but like 2 hours last night. I had an allergic reaction, I think, to cashews. So I spent all night long swollen up like what's a good term? Swollen up like what?
A balloon?
Yeah, swollen up like a balloon, itching, scratching myself all night. I'm talking, I was scratching from head to toe. My throat was hurting. I thought I was about to die. So I slept like 2 hours last night, got up and went to the doctor. Felt like death all day. So I didn't sleep very much at all last night. And now here I am up all night again tonight. So, but you know what I always say, Cameron, right?
You sleep when you're dead?
I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's right. And last night I kind of thought I might be headed that way. I really did for a minute there. I thought for a minute there I was going to have to tell Kelly we got to go to the emergency room. I felt bad, man. I felt really bad. So
Way to be morbid.
So I was like, no, I can't be sick. I got severe weather coming in tomorrow night.
Didn't even bother to tell us that you weren't. Well, you told us this morning, but
Yeah, well, I'm gonna work, unless I am in the hospital. Yeah, I do feel I got a steroid shot this morning, and I feel a whole lot better. They gave me a big old shot of Decadron, and plus the doctor said, I guess the practitioner said, wow, you've got a bad infection, you had a bad reaction here. So not only did she give me a Decadron shot, she also gave me a whole bunch of steroids to take in addition to that starting tomorrow. So. You know what, Ty? I really haven't talked a whole lot about Saturday because I've been trying to get through this event tonight here. Saturday's got some question marks. It definitely does have potential to be pretty significant up there in Sulphur and across Oklahoma. But there are some things that are trying to make it look maybe not quite as significant as I thought maybe 24 hours ago, but still the potential's there for some pretty big severe storms on Saturday, off and on throughout the day and into the evening. But if we wind up getting a line of thunderstorms, which the weather pattern may favor some supercells Saturday, but I think it's also going to favor a line of storms developing during the evening there. So if we wind up with more of a line, that lessens the tornado threat. But if we can hold on to some supercells late afternoon, early evening, then the tornado threat goes up. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. All modes still remain possible there on Saturday. The next, Barry Bonds. What do you mean, Braden?
Steroids.
Oh, steroids. Yeah, that's why I'm so big. I don't know if you keep missing it, but wondering if any bad weather for Bryson, Texas tonight. I don't think so. Bryson, is that down there? That's over there. Remind me where Bryson is. That's down there.
I'm looking.
I've talked about Bryson so many times before, and I'm just having a.
It's west of between Jacksboro,
Yeah.
of Jacksboro. And
Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, it will be some pretty good storms down your way, but probably not until like early tomorrow morning. I'm talking about like during the pre-dawn hours, sometime around or just before sunsets when those storms should get down there to you. So. Yeah, I think the air show looks possibly a little iffy on Saturday. I think they may get some of it in, but I don't know what their criteria is because there's going to be a lot of strong winds around, and the cloud deck is going to probably be pretty low throughout the day, and there'll be some showers and thunderstorms. So it wouldn't surprise me if they canceled Saturday, but Sunday looks good. So. Yeah, Altus should get in on the act. I think that the worst of it may be south of you in Altus, but you do got some storminess that should be building there in the next few hours. I can check on the latest radar. I haven't even looked at it over the last few minutes. See if things changing. Yeah, but hey, we do got a little bit of a line there just west of Childress starting to go now, so it may be speeding up. I told you, Cameron, earlier, these lines, when these lines finally form, they usually move faster than the model show. So maybe the original thought's going to be pretty good. So. But you can get out there. You can see the radar out of Lubbock. These are what we call strongly forced storms. The main upper air storm system is forcing these storms through the cap. So they're probably going to be they're going to struggle a little bit. They're going to be fighting against what we call convective inhibition. So they're still looking pretty strong. And this is a pretty good little cluster of storms. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty good cluster of storms. It's actually holding together nicely. And it's been holding together for a while. It's kind of a long-lasting little cluster of storms there near Tahaka and Post, moving east-northeast there. This could be up perhaps maybe into the Guthrie area, 12:30, 1 o'clock time frame. If we look, though, we can look and see if there's any wind. There are some winds in this, but you got to remember these storms are going to spin. They're going to rotate. That's just what they do. They just this time of year, the updraft spins in them some. But remember, to really get significant severe weather in terms of the really large damaging hail and the tornadic activity, even super strong winds, they really got to have access to the instability of the Earth's surface. And that instability comes in the form of that warm, moist air flowing into the storm down at the Earth's surface where you and I live. But in a lot of cases, when you have this convective inhibition, you see that instability being generated upstairs, aloft, and that's where they get their strength from. So they're fighting up against something that's trying to keep them from forming, but it's a battle, and occasionally that battle can still result in some decent severe weather. So we're going to keep our guard up overnight anyway. But we're not going to be scared. We're not going to be scared. We're going to be prepared, right? Yeah, just be prepared by having a way to get warnings overnight. That's all you need. That's all you need, folks. But as this continues to grow more, what we call upscale, the strong wind gusts will probably increase some in this. So, but yeah, you can see the sin on the radar here. Yep. I'm gonna turn down some of these levels. But they're moving pretty fast now, Cameron. We will not be sending the tracker out tonight, and the reason why we're not going to be sending the tracker out tonight is because, number one, we'll send the tracker out in the middle of the night if we're going to have. Matter of fact, one of the better severe weather chases we've ever had here was in October in the middle of the night. So we saw several big tornadoes up there in Oklahoma. But you know, with this, that was more of a supercell mode. This is more of a kind of a cluster mode, middle of the night, a lot of heavy rain. So I've chosen to keep Cameron here in the office with me, and then Jaden will be in a few hours from now. I don't know what my plan is. I mean, I'm gonna be keeping an eye on things for sure, but I may you know, go home at some point, but I'm not going to of course, let my guard down by any stretch. I'm going to keep an eye on this regardless. So, reading the weather service here. This is from the Norman Weather Service. Storms continue to move northeastward across West Texas with the most intense storms south of Lubbock area currently. At its current speeding heading, it would likely move into Knox Ford counties around 2 a.m. or so. Additional weaker convections developing north, which could move into our area between 12:30 and 1 a.m. So our time frames are pretty good, Cameron. Yeah, pretty good. So.
I had to play them a little bit throughout the evening, but
yeah, well, we knew we would. That's how it is. When you have a line, you have to. The best way to do it is when you have when your line already develops, then you can really kind of get a better idea. So.
right.
Well, Jennifer, that's a really nice thing. She says, "You are the meteorologist I trust, and thank you for no hype on weather, straight up honesty. I am a weather anxiety person, and so is my oldest son, so I appreciate you and your job." Thank you very much, Jennifer. You know, we have a hard time as a forecaster in TV business these days. We have a hard time, and I talk about this all the time here. We have a hard time as we have to fight up against these guys on the internet that seem to be taking over. So it makes our job a little more difficult because we don't hype weather and those guys do, and they have a larger following than us on social media because of that. So it makes our job a little bit harder. But you know, we can't succumb to that. We have to continue to do what we do, right?
Yeah, do what we do.
That is right. How about that NFL draft tonight?
Oh.
I don't. If you're a Cowboy fan, I just don't know. The Cowboys have had a terrible offseason. You know, they have no backup plan in place for quarterback. They're going to lose Dak next year. They have no backup plan. Lance Moore is not an NFL quality quarterback. They have no backup plan. They're just it just baffles me.
Yeah.
I think the Bears, your Chicago Bears, the Bears, had a great first round draft.
I'm excited. It's been a while.
Yeah,
since
you got
we've been excited for Chicago
you got
football.
the quarterback, and you got the receiver. I think you got some good ones there. I thought Minnesota had a great draft. I thought Atlanta Falcons pulled the biggest, like, what? Why?
Yeah, that was a lot big question mark there.
What was it? 23 offensive players went in the first round tonight. Is that like a record?
Something like that. I think like the first 16 players were something. I think like the first top half of the draft was all offensive players.
Yep, there
like
was
6 out of the first 10 or something like that being quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's crazy. Real deep draft though. It was a good draft. I enjoyed. Well, it's kind of blah. It's kind of blah.
Wasn't any crazy twists or anything.
No excitement.
No crazy jump ups or jump backs.
I'm texting my wife here. All right. All righty then. Let's see here. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Ryan Owens. Hey, Ken, I don't know if you know him, but if so, would you say Aaron Tuttle? I do know Aaron Tuttle. I don't know him personally, but I know who he is. And I do say that Aaron's a pretty good forecaster. I really do. You know, even up there, though, in Oklahoma City, it still baffles me. There's I mean, Oklahoma City is supposed to be where the best are. And those guys up there are good. I'm not taking it away, but there's a couple of those guys up there that just lately have just been having some horrible forecasts. But it's not just those guys. There's been a lot of it's just some type of a change in
curriculum,
the way things are going now, because everything is hype, and it all got started on the internet. It kind of all got started around COVID. That's when it all kind of got going. And
well,
then,
like I said, with COVID, there's a big shift in direction in the industry. With you got a surge of younger generation coming in.
Yeah, and they seem to buy into all of these fancy computer models that usually don't do very good.
they try to teach in school that they're tools, not
Yeah.
forecasts.
Well, that's the problem is, these guys that are on the internet don't know that. They're just trying to get clicks. They're right, Darren. They're just trying to be a clickbaiter. So that's what they do. They don't care if they get it right. But here's what makes me mad. And I know every time we're on here we get to talking about this, but it really is something that makes me mad. And I don't get mad about much, but it does something that really concerns me too is, you've got people out there, people that I know, that will say on social media, they'll go to these guys' website, I trust you more than my local meteorologist. Like, what? You've never even watched. Obviously you've never watched us.
I think the most frustrating part is that a lot of those people that they are like praising don't even have any educational backing to it.
And trust me, if you follow their forecast, I promise you they're wrong way more than they're right. All right, so this year, and I'm not going to name any names, but there's an individual out there, every freaking event, strong, violent tornado outbreak, and I don't think he's gotten but maybe one of them right out of like 5 or 6 of them so far this year. He's been wrong every time.
Well, it's like we've talked about. I think the problem is now is that it's no longer a lot of people and groups are not forecasting the most likely outcome. They're forecasting the worst case scenarios what they're forecasting.
And it creates a buzz and hype, and then nothing happens, and then the cry wolf syndrome happens on down the road. So, you have a wonderful night too, brother. What's he do, brother? Wonderful night, brother. So, if you're wondering what that is, there's this character on TikTok and on YouTube. His name is Sketch, and he's a gamer. I think he's silly personally, but a lot of people think he's funny and entertaining. I guess sometimes he's a little bit, but he'll say a cuss word and go, "Sorry for cussing." That's the only thing I find funny at all. Everything else I think is stupid.
You don't find his audibles funny or his What's
no,
Up Brother?
What's Up Brother's fine, but their audibles are stupid. All right, so Gladys Young, how much of a chance does Lawton, Oklahoma have for tornado tonight? Very low. Very low. But not zero, but still very low. I noticed on some of your maps you have Wise County included in your coverage area, and some don't have Wise County. I always wondered about that area. Well, Chris, Wise County is close to us, and technically it is not in my viewing area. Our viewing area only technically goes to Jacksboro. But we do, believe it or not, have people down there in Wise County that do watch us. They still get us on cable or even on antenna and definitely on social media. And I've had a number of people say that the Dallas-Fort Worth stations don't cover them, and they feel left out a lot. So that's why I started including them.
I'd say it's kind of a buffer zone.
Kind of a buffer zone. So, plus we got a lot of people that have family in those areas too. So even though I don't, even though we're not in the Metroplex technically, I still try to keep an eye on that area too. So.
Right.
You're right, Chris. It's so much can change. Like all this hype going on about Saturday, and I'll admit that I did talk about, and I posted on my page here too that I thought Saturday could be pretty bad, and it still does have potential, but it may not wind up being all that bad, to be honest about it. If everything has to come together perfectly for it to happen. And severe weather, you think of Tornado Alley, and it seems like maybe 10, 20 years ago, it just everything always came together. But really since then, there's just been something that's happened in the atmosphere, and it's really hard these days for everything to line up and get a big event here. It just doesn't happen very often. That's why I try to tell people when we talk about these hypers out there, Cameron, that these big violent tornado outbreaks they're talking about, they only have like April 27th of what was it, 2011?
Yes.
That only happens. It's like once in a generation.
You don't get those. Those aren't a yearly thing.
You think about here, the Oklahoma City Moore area that's been hit several times off and on throughout the last 10 years. But big, large scale tornado outbreaks don't happen that often. They're very rare.
Well, it's like people who ask me. The way I describe severe weather is that it's a fine art. It's very precise. Everything, like you said, has to be just perfect, coming together all at once at the right time, and one little misdirection with something is, it kind of zaps it.
Yep, it does. It does. So, you're welcome, Miranda. Yeah, I know they do. That's why we got you. We got you back. Oh yeah, those guys on TikTok. That's where a lot of the mess and garbage is. I mean, it's not even just weather though. It's also news, breaking news, always.
How many times did we talk about going to World War III?
Oh, this a dude on there that says World War III is happening. It's happening, folks. Get ready.
Prepare now.
Prepare now. They said that like 3 years ago, and we still hadn't seen it yet. So. Oh, good. I'm glad you still get this indicator down there, Chris. Awesome. You know, Rick is a good meteorologist. He actually got his start in Oklahoma. He was at KOCO in Oklahoma City. But Rick's a really good meteorologist, and I don't think that he's one of those that kind of, like you say, he tells it like it is. He's not a hyper, and he does his own forecasting and doesn't rely on all this crazy mess to do his forecast. Yeah, Rick's a good dude. I actually interviewed for a job there at that station in Dallas many years ago. It was a weekend spot. I really didn't want weekends, but it was Dallas. It's always been my dream to be a chief meteorologist in Dallas, but that didn't work out for me. But I was very close to at least becoming the weekend person. I was going to be able to get my foot in the door there, but like I say, everything happens for a reason. It didn't work out. So
instead, you got stuck with me.
Well, I just recently got stuck with you, and you'll go a few years from now. You'll go on you'll go on and leave me, and you'll go off and do big things. It always happens.
I'll recruit you next.
I'll be working for you. I'll be about retirement age, and you'll say, "Come on." I'll say, "Cameron, I need a job. Come on and work for me." So,
let me start calling the shots.
It's late, so I'm just leaving the Facebook Live on. I mean, shooting the bull. Really not much.
Still got a little bit to go before we see anything. This is going to be a while.
Oh, yeah. Aaron Gonzalez. What's up, brother? Hey, brother. I do get royalties from Borat. I know you're tired, Eric. Would you drive up there? Did you drive up to Goodland today in that area? That's a long way from home, man. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight, Janet. There's no way.
You already know I don't sleep anyway, so.
Well, I mean, I'm high on steroids, so I'm not going to sleep either, so, I mean.
I don't know if I go on there saying that.
Oh, wow, you went all the way to the Colorado state line? Whew, that is a long way. Man, I just not eat up enough with storm chasing to do that. I just couldn't do it, man. Back in my early day, I would have done. When I was young, like about your age, Cameron, we would leave Mississippi. Some of my buddies and I, we'd leave Mississippi, and we'd come out here and we'd drive all night to chase storms out here. We'd leave Mississippi after I got off of work, 10 o'clock, drive all night, chase storms, and then drive back that next night, not even get a hotel. And you talking about tired, but there's no way I could do that now. No way. I wouldn't even consider it.
Ken, just say you're past your prime.
I am past my prime. Eric Fox still in his prime, though. Yeah, I am now what Skip McBride and Eric Garner were in the 80s and 90s. I am. Yeah, my general manager told me that the other day. He said, Ken, you're the new Skip here. Like it or not, yeah, Skip's a good dude, man. I see Skip out in the Bay, lives over there in my neighborhood, and he's a good dude. You never got to meet Skip, but I'm basically him now. He was a dude that was here forever. Everybody loved him, and great dude. Good on-air weather person. Just a fantastic individual. So, but I guess I am him now. Eric Fox will be down here pretty soon too. He's moving down this way.
It's a pretty good town.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with Wichita Falls. Nothing wrong here at all, man. It's it doesn't have everything that you want isn't here, but everything you need is. So.
Well, what do you want? Like an amusement park?
A long time ago they had Funland here. This is before I was ever here. They had Funland, and Funland was a little bitty amusement park. Well, look at that small severe thunderstorm warning. That's the smallest severe thunderstorm warning I've ever seen, man. That thing is little. Over there near Post Malone. Oh, the life of a weatherman, though.
It's fun.
Can be. It can be fun.
Can be. Are you saying you don't have fun?
I do, sometimes.
You have to put up with me 7 days a week.
You're fun, though.
I know. That's
I
what
do
I'm saying.
appreciate that. Being prepared to skip is definitely a very big compliment, for sure. I'm ready, man. We're going to have some crawfish bowls over there. We're going to bring some crawdaddies over there and cook them up, Eric. Oh, I'm sorry, Julie. I meant to answer that. You were asking me that earlier. Yeah, you can see some decent straight line winds there, but again, it'll be very late. I mean, no time soon. If you want to go to bed, go ahead. You'll be fine. It's just, all right, so here's what's happening. Somebody wants to know, it looks like it could fall apart. It's still trying to organize and develop. It's fighting against the cap out there. So it looks like that. It'll eventually get its act together, but it may take a little bit more time for it to get over here closer to us before it does so. But it looks like it's falling apart because it's just still trying to develop. It'll change, though. Vernon, yeah, you're going to get some pretty good storms over there a couple hours from now. You know, it's time right now. It's almost 12 o'clock. So, you know, probably, you know, after, you know, probably 2, 3:30 somewhere in there, 2 to 3 somewhere in there probably. Just some wind, heavy rain, small hail. We'll keep an eye on it. The storms over near Post look pretty good, though. That's going to be, I think, our main cluster there. You'll see some weaker storms try to develop kind of out ahead of that, though. But that cluster over there near Post is going to be what I think is eventually going to become the main area storm. So. Is it from hail, Eric? Or are you kind of along or north of that warm front there? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to fall apart. I think it's going to come together. Overall, I don't think it's going to be that bad, people. I really don't. So, I mean, yeah, it'll rain pretty good, and there'll be some good winds and what. But overall, I don't think this is something that you need to be like, super worried about overnight tonight. I think we'll be okay. We'll watch it for you. You know, we're here. You know, we're going to be here watching it for you. So, but you can go to bed and you'll be all right. Oh, okay, I get it. Eric, I would bring you on with me here, but you're driving, and I don't know how to do that on Restream yet. I know there's a way to do it. It's a backup stream.
What is that? Great link.
That's links. You can do a chat overlay. There's a setting. I don't have access to settings, I don't think, though. But there's a way to bring people on here, and I don't know how to do it yet. Yeah, weather radio, that's what we've been trying to tell people is weather radio, or you know, they got some good apps out there these days. But this is what we call a babysit job in the world of weather. There's nothing going on right now, and usually I go home and do this stuff. But you know, why am I sitting here just babysitting? Why don't I go home and no? But this is still a little ways away from us still,
I thought you were being serious for a second. I was saying, you're asking the wrong person. You're the chief.
All right, so Garrett, what a weather radio does is it has a direct link to a repeater that gets information directly from the Weather Service. So when a warning is issued, you can set it to alert you for the type of warnings you want. You can set it to alert you for your location or the counties around you. I always suggest when you have a weather radio to have it where it alerts you for the adjacent counties to where you are. Like, for instance, if you're in Vernon, I would have not only Wilbarger, but I'd have Baylor, I'd have Ford, Knox, Hardeman, and then I'd have Jackson County, those areas programmed to also be included. That way, when there's warnings for those counties, you're able to keep up with it. It'll alert you and let you know, but you can turn it off too. So remember, though, in this part of the country, it is rare to see major tornadoes in the middle of the night and early in the morning. I mean, it can happen, but it's rare. Now, back in where I'm from in Mississippi, the majority of our tornadoes always came at night. Different element over there, different animal over there in the southeast. So weather behaves differently here. So, Gladys, I don't see baseball-sized hail with this. Honestly, I don't. I mean, these storms are probably producing the biggest hail they're going to produce right now, I would think. And you know, I don't think the hail is baseball size. Now, you really got to have big supercells for baseball size hail, and I don't think we're going to have much in the way of supercell. I think they're going to be mostly a cluster or kind of a mess of thunderstorms.
It'd be a wind threat.
It'd be mostly a wind threat, and mostly what you see with these is small hail. But you know, sometimes it can get a little bit, maybe up to golf ball, but usually it's small. Yep, Jaden getting him some in the morning. That's right. I'm gonna have him. I'll have him and Cameron here. So, you know, Alma, I think it's into Wichita Falls between 2 and 4 a.m. Probably closer to 3:30 or so. Probably. Could be woke up by some loud thunder. Yeah, that cluster is looking pretty organized. It looks like it's organizing nicely now, Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I actually got a guy today that said, please don't let it rain a lot. He's got a lot of hay he needs to cut. So he's asked me, please don't let it rain. But I'm like, you know what? I don't order the rain. I just tell it when the order's been placed. That's all. I'm not the one that's responsible for all that. So. I am starting to get a little tired, Cameron.
Wake up.
A little bit.
Wake up.
I'm not drinking the energy drinks you brought here, though.
They're not energy drinks. They're pre-workout.
Oh, that's even worse.
So?
That stuff gives you that.
Well, that gets you going.
Well, it gets you going, but it also has that crash.
Nah. I have it for breakfast every morning.
Not me. I don't like that stuff.
I come into work, run into work like Ultimate Warrior, start shaking the ropes, you know.
You got your you got your Brahma Bull shoes on there still. I see.
I do.
So. There's still some little. You can almost see the evolution of a line trying to form back in here. If you look at it, you can see these storms. I still think they might have a bit of some separate updrafts, almost like supercell-like structures in here. But what you're seeing here is you're seeing mergers of these storms, and you're starting to see where they're S-ing and kinking. So you're probably seeing, and they'll back build in this area. So you're probably seeing this is probably going to start bowing out, and you know probably going to increase some wind threats over in here, I'd imagine.
Right.
I wonder if there's any. I'm going to do a quick little meso analysis here. Oh, you've already got it up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on. You get the new one in about 15 minutes.
So it does show a bit of it says a weaker cap over us now, though.
Yeah, it's stronger out west, but
yeah, those storms might have a chance if this continues a weekend. They may have a chance.
They've got, and they're at the surface. There's some better instability at the surface.
Mm-hmm. So those storms aren't even in the best instability. They could increase some once they get over our way.
Right. It's going to take some time, though. You know, that cap's going to continue to build for a little bit too.
Yep. Let's see. A lot of low-level storm relative felicity. That's for sure. If they could be surface-based, they could be pretty bad. You know, SIG-TOR values are there, which we knew they were going to be there.
So you can, Eric agrees. C4. That's exactly what I have every morning.
I can't do that, man. That's like drinking those monster drinks, man. That stuff makes me sick, man. I can't do it.
Oh, come on.
No. No, sir. Hey, where is this? Is this because I don't see the.
What are you looking for?
They have a
Photograph?
a photograph and a forecasted SQT. I don't see it on this one.
What, a wind shear? Should be a wind shear, I believe.
I don't have it there.
This is meso analysis.
Maybe this is the browser doing it. I don't know. Here's an enhanced stretch. I don't know what that is really. But yeah, they don't have it on this one here. So.
Keep scrolling through. Look at multi-parameter, see. No.
They usually have it right there. Oh, anyway. Ugh.
You broke it, Ken.
No tornadoes tomorrow, Alma. It's hard to sleep when you went through that. I know it is. I know you guys that went through that have that storm anxiety, Tracy. I know you do.
Well, I know.
What is something that I like to drink that helps me with energy? I used to would drink some of those Celsius, but those things have that crash and make me feel bad.
What?
So.
Didn't you used to drink those what's it called? They're like the Gatorade ones, the Twitch.
Yeah,
energy?
I like the Twitch ones. Yeah, that works pretty well. But again, I don't like that crash feeling. They're not good for you either. So I try to tend to stay away from those things if I can. I drink some coffee. I ain't been drinking much coffee lately. So.
When do they have this? Not know.
I do like green. Oh yeah, that's one thing I like is a green tea. I'll go to there's a tea place. There's a couple tea places here in town that I like to go to, but there's one place, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say names on here, so I'm not gonna say names on here. But there's one place I like to go to, and they have a green tea. It's called the Heartthrob, and man, that thing is so good. It's expensive, but man, it's good.
Basically, Starbucks but tea.
Yeah, that's what it is. Starbucks for tea, but it's I'm getting a little tired.
Wake up.
Getting a little tired.
I don't know where it went.
Let's see if it's your browser.
Look, I'm using Google Chrome, the best browser, so just put it out there.
All right, maybe they took it off of here for now, but it's not on there anymore.
Well, remember earlier there was issues with mesoanalysis.
No, new photograph map. There it is.
What? Where? Where did you find that?
Windshear.
This is not cool.
Yeah, those are some good-looking photographs. See if Thermodynamics has. Yep, new QT maps. But if you're looking at these QT maps, there's caps all over the place. Not like huge caps, but there's there's a cap there. There's a cap there. Yeah, it looks pretty capped to me still. But look back west, you don't have a cap there. Less capping, so it could change a little bit.
Well, we're about to get a new one here in the next 10 minutes. A new update.
Yeah, it's more instability and less cap over here, so we'll see what happens.
So a couple hours ago, though, or more than a couple hours, really.
Getting some pretty good height falls. Best jet stream is just north of us, though. There's look like maybe some new development kind of out ahead of the main little cluster, little weaker showers developing just west of Guthrie now. That's your main cluster there, though. Post, Crosbyton, west of Jayton, kind of head up towards Guthrie. If that can ever start bowing out, it'll probably pick up speed and speed up some. I do believe that's kind of got a bit of a supercell, some supercell structures within that mess there. Especially the storms on the back side of it, they don't look super significant. It's like HP, just real big HP perhaps supercells. You got some pretty strong winds there trying to develop with it. I don't see any rotating winds there. Nothing tornadic, that's for sure. But you are seeing some increased winds with that activity. So this tells me that this is probably getting ready to start bowing out. You're probably about to see some of these winds pick up and some of this stuff out here. So you can almost see a hook right there.
Yeah.
You got a bit of a hook back in here too.
Pretty messy though.
Oh, very, very messy, yeah. But they're trying to organize still, so it could still organize a little bit better. But it looks like we're about to start seeing some showers. If they're flirting with our western counties now, we'll probably start seeing some. I think within the next hour, we'll probably start seeing some showers and weaker thunderstorms developing into some of our western counties. So you can see the pretty good cap on the radar there still. So, but yeah, you can see how the latest radar update, how it really starts to merge all that together. Yeah, that's getting ready to push out in Boba. That's organizing now, and that's getting ready to really, really ramp up here pretty soon. And as it does so, it's going to begin to speed up. So we should start seeing some storms in our area in the next hour or so. By our area, I mean out west here. So
In Texoma.
in Texoma. Yes, Eric, I'm getting old. Why does it seem like the more southern parts of linear storms have the most vorticity? Like, what are they, Cameron? Do you know how to explain that?
What do you like? What do you mean?
It's gonna be. It's called the southern. What's it called? You want to play. You always want to play the southern sail because it has access to open.
The open air.
Yeah, it has access to that warm area. You don't
warm,
have
moist air rather than the rain cooled air.
Yeah, it's called the tail end Charlie, is what it's called, and you get more access to the open warm sector. It's able to feed. It's able to feed the updraft without any interruptions really, and you don't have as much in the way of storms interfering with its updraft. You don't have cool air ingesting into the updraft, and you don't have the wind patterns all screwed. The southern sail on the line is always the one. If you're going to get a tornado, a lot of times that's where it's at. Because sometimes you can still get a supercell with that. But with this situation tonight, we're looking at just little kinks in the line that could produce it. So QLCS, that's right. That's right. People here have really good knowledge of weather. I like that because, I mean, you got AC if you're talking about vorticity. You got them talking about QLCS, and you're right.
So they're out some pretty good weather lingo.
Yeah, that's right, Eric. It's going to be pushing out here pretty soon. I agree with you on that one. Yeah, Tracy, go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
It's hard to say, Clyde, because there's going to be a chance for it's actually showing up on Saturday. Several waves of storms, and it could be some in the morning, could be some in the afternoon, and some in the evening. I think the better chance for severe weather that would come evening or nighttime on Saturday, maybe in the form of a line. There could be some supercells too, but we'll just have to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, Amy sums up pretty well. It's getting the healthy air.
Yep. So what do the helicity tracks typically indicate? All right, so what happens with the helicity tracks? So when you have an updraft that's spinning, it's ingesting, oftentimes it's just ingesting storm relative felicities. So when you see those tracks show up, a lot of times it's just showing where that updraft is spinning. It shows the tracks of those updrafts, and you start seeing it really spin tightly. A lot of times it's ingesting more of that helicity, and it gives it a better chance to produce larger hail, and even tornadoes sometimes. So, you can't follow that directly because that's just a model, that's just the model showing that. But it shows at least a potential for those storms that interact with that environment, especially supercells. They have a lot of spin to work with, and it shows tracks where that spin could potentially be located, and that could potentially be tornadoes too. So, yeah, this guy Ty is asking some great questions, Eric, and hopefully he don't stump me here in a minute. He could, because I don't know. I don't know all. I know what I know, but I don't know everything. I don't know. Frederick, Oklahoma, you could get some storm activity, sometime around 2 and thereafter. Yeah, we're just throwing this Facebook Live up here tonight, just leaving it on, just because.
Right now we're just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, we're just really hanging out, just kind of shooting the bull here a little bit. I'm probably going to jump off though, because, you know, we need to kind of save our voices for when we actually really do get some weather here. It's not that far away though.
Say if you're gonna start saving your vocals, start
Yep.
charging now.
Yep. I agree. All right.
Probably got like what, an hour or so before we start.
Yeah, I think so. All right. So here's what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to jump off of Facebook Live because I need to kind of rest a little bit here. We got one person. For the people just jumping on, what's the weather we are expecting this morning? I guess right now it is technically morning. It's 12:08. It's Friday, April 26th. Pretty stormy around the area prior to sunrise or around sunrise even till, but I think most of it will be prior to sunrise. Heavy rain, mostly small hail, some strong gusty winds, you know, that kind of thing that we're mostly looking at. And Lawton will get hit by this too, yes. Well, some of it, you know, the worst of it may stay south, but we'll see. It'll be very close. I'm just a weather anxious southerner trying to better understand. You guys, Ty, you've asked some great questions.
That's how it starts. That's how it started for both of us. We were both scared and started asking questions, and here we are.
Well, you know, I went to school. When I first went to school, you know, because school teaches you the science. So what they teach, somebody told me this the other day. School teaches you how to pass a test.
Yes.
That's what it does. It does not teach you how to forecast. It teaches you how to pass a test.
It teaches you the definitions.
It teaches you the definitions. It teaches you the science behind everything. You apply that once you get into the real world. What helps you is because you know the equations behind these weather models.
You understand what's going on.
You understand what's going on with the weather. You know how to pick out its flaws.
You know what I think was one of my favorite classes while at school, or like what I think was most beneficial is, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name of it. But it is a class that, it's numerical weather prediction, but it just focuses on the models and how they work.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you understand how they work and how they produce the information, it really does help you to be a better forecaster.
It's a grid system they're all on, and everything has to do with balloon launches and, you know, that kind of stuff across the world. All the dots connect. Of course, it all goes into a big mathematical equation and whatnot. So, but yeah, I used to, when I first went to school, I didn't understand any of that stuff, and I had to go and pull a guy aside and say, hey, his name was Heath Morton. Heath, would you teach me these things? I don't understand what they're talking about. And he took the time in the library every night and showed me how these things worked. So I got to where I studied it a lot and looked at it I looked at it every single day. Every single day I looked at it, and I would read and read and read and read. I'd read a guy by the name of Tim Vasquez. This dude was really, really smart. I read a lot of his stuff. And
he wrote the Storm Chasing Handbook?
Yes, and I read a lot of his stuff. I read a lot of the good old school SBC forecasters and the good old school guys, and they taught me a lot. Tim Marshall is another fantastic. He's an engineer, but that dude has been chasing storms a long time. He knows as much as anybody in the world about it.
He's smart.
So I've read a lot of his his discussions and stuff too. So that's how I learned, and then I just kind of paid attention. That's all I do is pay attention.
Learn as you go too.
Eric says his mom would have to pull him inside by my hair, trying to be outside. Yeah, you told me that. Yeah. Of course, when I lived in Mississippi, it wasn't like it was here. I mean, those tornadoes there were hidden in trees. You couldn't see them no way, and then it would be always usually wrapped in a lot of rain.
The jungle.
Yeah, and so I mean, I'd go stand at my window and look out, but you couldn't see nothing. So it made it really scary though, because the tornado sirens would be going off, and you'd be scared to death because you knew it was something lurking out there.
Right.
Well, Gary England's one of the best there, Chris. He's one of the best. Now, the storms, like I say, everything is still just organizing still. Everything is on track. Nothing has changed there, William. I don't think it will. I think it'll be about the same when it gets to Bowie, honestly. Janet's one of our biggest fans there. And yes, Marcos, it will be hitting Vernon. I would say maybe 2 a.m., 3 a.m. time frame, maybe some of those storms. Yeah, well, these storms begin to bow out and they'll start speeding up here pretty soon. I think a couple hours from now, maybe 2 hours in Vernon. So a little bit after 2 should be into Vernon. There may be some weaker storms out ahead of the main area, but it should be. They're moving pretty fast now, Cameron.
Yep.
I mean, they're already to Spur, and they'll be into places like Paducah and down towards Haskell, those areas. Or Haskell, is it Guthrie? Guthrie here pretty soon, and they'll continue to speed up as they continue to organize and develop. So,
Get the show on the road.
all right, I'm for real jumping off this time. I need to charge my batteries here for a minute. But you know, as storms get into the area, you know, we'll be on off and on social media, and maybe a little bit on some of our other channels too. So, but I'd appreciate all the great questions tonight. Thank you guys for being on here. And yeah, some more severe weather possible on Saturday, Gary Carter. Several waves of thunderstorms, could be some more severe weather. We'll just have to, I'm going to dive more into Saturday tomorrow. I just kind of wanted to focus on tonight and get through tonight, and then we'll get to Saturdays tomorrow. Okay? All right, guys. Yeah, I feel a lot better. I mean, that steroid shot, you know, my hands were so swollen I couldn't even grip them. I couldn't even close them earlier today. This morning, it was bad. I'm telling you, folks, I was in bad shape this morning last night. My hands were so tight, I couldn't even grip them. But, you know, the steroid shot has helped. I still got these blisters, though, down here. I'm not going to show y'all, but look at that, Cameron.
Yeah, you're pretty.
It still looks pretty bad down there,
You
man.
still look pretty swollen.
Yeah, so, but it's still there, but I feel better. I don't feel like death warmed over now. I felt like I was going to die this morning. I couldn't breathe, and it just was horrible. My wife said, you need to call in. I said, I can't call in. We got severe weather. Can't do that.
He doesn't trust me.
No, I didn't say I don't trust you. It's just I got to be here. You know, I got to help you guys.
I know.
I got to teach my children.
Your what?
My children.
Oh.
All right.
Why'd
I got
you
to
say
go,
it
guys.
like that?
Got to go, guys. I'm jumping off now for real. For real, for real.